Hey everybody, Ashley Francis here, the holistic psychotherapist, licensed marriage and family therapist here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And today this is part 2 of a 2-part series on conscious living and cultivating conscious relationships. Now in video 1, we talked about some of the characteristics of conscious living, and today we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can implement and start practicing conscious living and cultivating conscious relationships. So number 1 is that you speak your truth. You practice radical honesty. This one's tough. Being able to say what is on your mind with fervor, with abandon, being able to speak up for what you believe in with conviction and really holding your guns or sticking to your guns in the face of adversity or disagreement. Speak your truth, because the opposite of that is swallowing it, which leads to tremendous amounts of resentment, which translates to cancer, to all sorts of diseases, and just general disease and unwellness. So we speak our truth. We're practicing radical honesty, and that is one of the highest forms of self-love, I think, when we are able to really, really honor ourselves in that way by speaking our truth and standing up for ourselves. The next is to invite more stillness. This can be just as simple as taking a few breaths. Could be doing some guided imagery, guided meditation, your own form of meditation, getting into nature, anything that you can do to get into stillness so that you're inviting the space for you to be alone with you. If you remember from video 1, we talked a little bit about loving yourself first. This is one of the best ways to demonstrate love for yourself, is carving out that time, and it doesn't even have to be that long, could be a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but having that time every single day to invite more stillness in your life so that you can connect with your true authentic self, which are your true authentic needs, as opposed to what is being dictated to you by outside sources. The third is to learn to self-soothe and feel safe in your body. Boy, oh boy, when we are activated, this feels impossible. I know it does for me. When I'm triggered, somebody has stepped on my tripwire, I am spitting fire, I am seeing flames. It is really, really hard to self-soothe. But the key here is to treat yourself like the smaller version of yourself, also known as inner child work. Oh, honey. Oh, sweetie, it's okay. These things are going to happen. It's all right that this person doesn't approve of you or doesn't agree with your point of view. You're still valuable. You are still lovable no matter what. And feeling safe in your body, you might need to practice some breathing techniques to be able to regulate the nervous system, or get some movement in, do some yoga or some light exercise to be able to move some of that energy through you. You might even practice some grounding techniques so that you can feel safe in your body, especially when you're feeling triggered. Next is to learn emotional intelligence and healthy communication. So what this is basically centered around is being able to identify your emotions first, and then being able to communicate them. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to just Google an emotions wheel. It's pretty simple, and that way you can start practicing identifying emotions. I know I've been guilty of this too, that I kind of get stuck in just sticking with some of the basic stuff: happy, mad, sad, glad, scared, right? But there are literally hundreds of other options out there that add such depth and dimension to our emotional experience that it's better for us in terms of self-awareness to get acquainted with all of the various shades and degrees of emotions, because it just adds to the depth that much more. And the next is to build healthy boundaries and listen to your body. I think right now this is one of the ones that I'm struggling with the most, and it's because I'm in a very tender, raw period. Things are just kind of heavy. I'm just letting it all just sit there. But when someone's violated your boundary, it's imperative that you communicate that to them. If they've said something to you that is offensive, to speak up. If somebody has said something racist, then don't stay quiet about it. To building these healthy boundaries. Don't touch my body in that way, or I need some space, and it's just better for me to have, about a foot of space between me and another person, and I need to communicate that to them. Even something as seemingly arbitrary as putting your hand on someone's back may be intrusive. That person may have a history of abuse, and it could be triggering to them. So it's up to that person to create some boundaries by saying, hey, I'm actually not comfortable with that. Would you mind not doing that? Or more plainly put, please stop doing that. So building healthy boundaries and listening to your body. So another good way to know that a boundary has been crossed is checking in with your body. Do you feel tense? Do you feel hostility? Do you feel aggression? Do you just feel unsettled and you don't know why? Particularly, this is going to show up in your belly area, your chest, your throat, as well as your jaw area. So those are the areas that we carry most of our emotions. Check in with those places. And if you're feeling any sort of dis-ease, it's your body's way of letting you know that something is off, and maybe you need to set a firmer boundary. The next is to communicate your needs and wants with love. So an example of this is being able to say that, I'm feeling really, like I just said, I'm feeling really raw right now, and I need some alone time. Or if a friend is in need of some support and you've just had a really bad day, you being able to say, unfortunately, I don't have capacity for this right now. I'd like to get in touch with you tomorrow or when my cup is full again so that I can give you my undivided attention. So that's a good way of being able to communicate that with love instead of saying, are you freaking crazy? Can you not see that I've got groceries in both hands and the kids are crying and my husband's hungry for dinner? No, not being communicated with love. Actually, it sounds like boundaries need to be set with that example. And then lastly, joining a conscious community. Surrounding yourself with like-minded folks that do this work, that are committed to lifelong growth and self-inquiry and take responsibility for their actions and are curious to know where all this stuff comes from and want to get better every single day. When you're around other people like that, conscious relationships just naturally form. We're drawn towards other people like that naturally, and we're drawn away from people that do not serve us also naturally. And personally, I believe that this is the number one way to make sure that 1, you're learning about it, 2, you're implementing it, 3, you're held accountable, and then 4, that you stay on track. And if you live in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, good news. I have a spiritual community group that I've put together that is starting the second week of September, and it will be in person, and you can find details for that down in the description. All right, that will do it for today on our talk about conscious living and cultivating conscious relationships. Please let me know in the comments below what you think and what your experience has been. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Take care.